No.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Sunday Sit. I'm Shiv.
And I'm Samaj.
And here at the Sunday Sit, it's time for us to remember who we are. Remember who we are as women, especially those of us who are on this side of 50. For us to not only remember who we are, but to reclaim all those bits of ourselves that we might have disowned and ignored along the way to getting here. Because what we have at this point is the combination of wisdom and experience. That's what makes us truly powerful. And when we realize that power, well, that's when we can really come into it. So if you are here, let me know if the sound's okay. How's it in your ear? We're using a different microphone, really trying to work out this sound issue. So anyway, so that's what it's about. So really, this is about us coming together to share our stories and experience, because ultimately that's what makes us powerful. It's our stories and our experience, but it's our shared stories, our shared experience that really is the glue that that empowers each of us, right? So that's what we're here every Sunday. Just keep meeting ourselves, meet ourselves, meet ourselves, meet ourselves. Get our mind on board, right?
Right.
So that we can do anything we set our mind to. How about that?
Absolutely.
But in order to get our mind on board, we've got to kind of know how it works, because the one thing that our mind knows is how we work. It already knows that. So it's like very, very clever, right? So your mind's very, very clever. So you've got to learn how it works. It's really weird because I can hear myself in his ear right now. So could you put it in your other ear, not this ear?
There, no, you can't.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, and you know, the interesting thing is you don't have to be on this side of 50 to be part of this conversation. This is a conversation for all of us because, well, who wants to start the conversation once they're 50, right? Well, that's what most of us are having to do. So if you're coming in here earlier than that, you've got a bit of a head start on what we had, right? Because there's a big silence, it seems, around women in their 50s, other than to disparage us, right? In fact, last night I was at Art Walk in Santa Ana. I told you about this, showed you the picture. I don't really know what the artist was saying, but there was a kind of crumpled paper on the wall of a woman-ish, and she had a blue swimsuit on, and it was called older woman wears swimsuit in public place. Imagine that, an older woman wearing a bloody swimsuit. Could you ever imagine? Yes, we can wear whatever the fuck we want, right? So it's about us coming home to ourselves with all those fragmented parts of ourselves that we've disowned. And when we do that, then we can live a truly holy life. The train agrees. He keeps smiling at me. That's quite funny. It's like a Cheshire cat, isn't he? Anyway, so it is, though. This is what it's been really clear to me this week, right? Kind of all dropped in that the Japanese art of kintsugi, which we've talked about, taking the broken pieces and bringing them together and mending them with something that's more valuable, with some gold, some platinum, and making it stronger and more beautiful and more worthy because of it. That's us. This is what we get to do. We get to do this, and we get to be stronger and more beautiful than we ever thought. And fuck what society says, right? Their prescription for us, that's not for us. Like, that's for other people, right? If you're here, remembering who you are at your essence, so that you can come home to yourself. And then when you can come home to yourself, well, now you can decorate your home exactly how you want. And you start to really live life on your terms, right? Because oftentimes we think we are on our own terms, but then we realize that actually quite on somebody else's and not what we want to do. So Hey, Addie Sundry. Good morning,
Hey,
sweetheart.
good morning.
How's the sound, babes? Addie Sundry is always great for telling me what the sound's like, trying out the new microphone. And we're talking, Addie Sundry, about, remembering who we are and reclaiming those lost parts of ourselves. And the other thing too that I'm really like feeling quite strongly right now is about the spiritual journey, that we've got sidetracked, we've actually been bamboozled along the way, I reckon, with a lot of this spiritual journey stuff, right? Because actually what really needs attendance is human. Like even the saying, we're not human beings here for a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings here for a human experience, which has been said by multiple people and accredited to multiple people. But even that, right? If we are spiritual beings here for a human experience, then that's what we should be concentrating on, the human experience. Because guess what? Our spirits are totally fucking fine. They really are. Our humanness, well,
Needs a little work.
could do with a little attendance right there. Our minds, the same thing, right? So I think that's where the real beauty of the work begins, is recognizing that our spirits are fine and our humanness, that's our human mess, well, that would benefit from a little bit of attendance. And so we start to pay attendance there and we're like, oh, okay, now I'm holy. WHOLLY. I'm holy me, right? And embracing those parts, and that's the radical acceptance. That's the radical acceptance of where we are, remembering who we are, the radical acceptance of taking those parts of ourselves that we've disowned, those parts of ourselves that we've disliked, and accepting them as part of the whole. If we want to live a holy life, we gotta be whole. If we want to come home to ourselves, we gotta be whole. So it's those bits and pieces of ourselves that we've been giving up, that we've not wanted. And imagine how that feels. So imagine when we give it some attention, when we say that we accept it as part of the whole, then we really, really, really do come home to ourselves. And when we come home to ourselves, we're not searching outside for that which is already inside. You see? And that's huge. That part right there is huge, right? The searching we do outside comes in so many different forms that we don't necessarily recognize it. We're not saying, oh, I'm looking for my home, I'm looking to be whole. No, we're like the hungry ghost. We're looking for something that we don't even know what it is, right? And society and the media will tell us that it's the new car, it's the new purse, it's the new shoes, it's the new body, it's the new man. The horror. But you get my drift, right? That it's the something, and it's always the next thing, the next thing. It's the next position at work, these things that define us. But what really defines us ultimately is that when we take our last breath, and even along the way there, that we have an acceptance of who we are without any of those labels. Because that's who we are. And that's where our power begins. So that's that. Word. I'm going to take a drink of water.
Yeah.
How you doing, Addie Sundry? What's the weather like up in Canada? Are you suffering with heat or cold or so? Whilst much of Europe is sweltering, my family in England and Ireland tell me that it's pretty wet over there, and they've got between 150 and 215% of their rainfall for the month. And they say it's not climate change. I think it is. How you doing?
Great.
Awesome. It's all right, just had to have a bit of a drink. I've got to put Walt on. Getting a bit warm. Woman in her 50s, what are you going to say? It's, oh, comfy. I'm comfy. I'm like, what?
Comfy.
Comfy. Comfy's nice, right? There we go. I've got Walt just give me a bit of a blow. Walt's the fan. Sounds a bit weird, that, doesn't it? That Walt. Hi, Walt. Will says hi. Comes with me everywhere he goes. Anyway, it's time for a little sit, I reckon.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is not a one-way conversation, so I would love to hear from you as to, you know, that feeling in our 50s of coming into ourselves, right? Really coming home to ourselves. I don't know why I'm polishing up my glasses there. Don't think I need them. So is the sound okay when I'm up here, Alessandra? Do I have to be like close to the mic, or am I okay back here?
You should be okay.
I should be okay?
Mhm.
All right. So, a lot to still learn. Exactly.
Indeed.
There's so much to learn. Oh, good. I'm glad the sound sounds good. Yeah, there's so much for us to learn, and so much for us to remember as well, and so much for us to be, right? So, beautiful. Well, let's have just like a nice little sit, I reckon.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, coming seated, however is comfortable to you right now, whatever's available to you. That could be sitting up in a chair, or it could be sitting up in bed, or perhaps you're even laying down. Shoulders relaxed, taking them back and allowing them to just soften down. Inhaling through the nose as we quietly come from whatever it is we've been doing, away from whatever it is we have to do after, allowing ourselves to be here in the present with ourselves. A little check-in. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, allowing the body to breathe itself. We can use the words breathing in, breathing out. If you'd like to accompany that with any kind of color association, you can breathe in beautiful golden light, symbolizing your life force. And breathe out. Well, what color would you like that to be? Do you want it to be gray, that which no longer serves you, you've taken the life out of it? Or maybe it's a beautiful silver light that you're sending back out, knowing that there's a reciprocity with our breathing, what we breathe in, what we breathe out, and how we all fit together as the plants, the animals, the earth. Allowing yourself to settle in, feeling how it is to be in your trillions of cells right now. Sitting upright, spine stacking on top of one another, vertebrae on top of one another. Chin slightly tilted down, back of the neck nice and long. Shoulders relaxing down on the exhale, like butter off a hot knife. Hands perhaps relaxed inside one another. Perhaps the thumbs are touching. Eyelids soft, in a soft gaze downwards or closed. Now you can really feel that you're breathing. Breathing in, belly extends. Breathing out, belly softens inward. Breathing all the way down into the belly, how easy it is to forget that we can go all the way down to the belly with the breath. And as we exhale, allowing the breath to come from the belly up through the diaphragm, clavicle. Feeling the peacefulness in just sitting here and breathing. Or perhaps you feel agitated. Perhaps you want something to do. Breathing in, breathing out. Using that as an anchor for your thoughts. We're not trying to stop thinking. We're just going to stop thinking about thinking. So thoughts come and go. And bring our mind back to breathing in, breathing out. And for the next 2 minutes, we're going to have a little silence so we can each sit with our breath, sit with where we are, and be with it. Just noticing where your mind goes when it has nowhere prescribed to go. Observing without judgment, with kindness and curiosity. starting to bring yourself back from wherever you've gone. Breathing a little deeper. And take a nice deep inhale. Suspend your breath right here. Just relax your tongue for a moment. And exhale. One more. Inhale. Suspend. And exhale. And start to slowly flutter eyes open. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How was that?
It's great.
Did you have a little nap there, did you? So,
I was deep in a sleep. I was deep and awake.
deep and awake. I like it. Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Okay. Well, I went to a place of remembering. Yes.
That's a great.
Yes. How was that? We'd love to hear more about that, Alessandri. That remembering. You know, and remembering that we've been through some shit, right? I mean, some real challenging times, and yet here we each are. We are here. We got through. We survived. Alessandra, I know yours is very recent.
How grateful.
You know, Alessandra, we feel the same way about you. That is so beautiful. It's been a long time. We've crossed over some stuff. Yeah, we've definitely been through. We've been through, and we've come through. That's the beautiful thing, and I love that even during the time when we weren't around, that you and Deb were still in touch. That you've created your own connection there. That it's just it has been a long time, and there's more to come, right? So that's what's beautiful, is there's definitely more to come, and we're just going to keep coming here on the Sunday, and we've got some stuff going on we're excited about. So yeah, we've had to make some changes ourselves, and we've been a little bit down, and it's been challenging, but we can see the light. We can see the light.
The light is
The light is
there.
So we will take you along for that. Anyway, for now, this is all for now. It's what time is it? Oh, cool. I can keep keeping it in this like 30 minutes. Alessandra is smiling. Yay.
Yay.
That's good. Yeah.
Smiles all around.
It's good. Anyway, we'll be back for the Sunday sit. Samaj tells me that he is working on one of the studio recordings that we did. So we did a bunch of meditations in the studio, which has got really nice studio sound, because this is something that I'm really trying to grapple with here. So next week's Sunday sit will be at noon. YouTube's messing us around, like taking hours to load our videos. So we're going to get it done early. And it's about working with frustrating people. So, sorry, the phone was going on the other phone. So working with frustrating people. What do we do when we've got frustrating people in our lives? How can we use our meditation practice for that? Because that's the other thing about what we're trying to do here is give you tools that you can actually use in real life, not just some bloody like airy-fairy shit that sounds good and sell shit, but then when you come to use it, you're like, well, what does that really mean, right? So in real life, right fucking now, usable tools.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all from us. We'll see you next week. We love you so very, very, very much. Have a beautiful day.